Now, like I said, that's the goal of being able to take nice, deep, controlled inhalations and exhalations. Now, the problem is a lot of us, when we're struggling with anxiety, we often just don't use our full lungs. We're not getting a full enough breath. So what we need to start doing is, first of all, to breathe with our diaphragms. In other words, breathe diaphragmatically. And I'm going to show you how to do that here real quick. And then secondly, you want to make sure that you are filling your entire lungs with oxygen. So from the bottom of the lungs all the way to the top. Now, it's easy to just do a quick catch breath. And really though, when I just did that, you just saw my shoulders move. You just saw my muscles here in the ribs, those intercostal muscles just kind of heave, my chest expand. But the thing is that there's quite a bit of lungs right down here that I'm not even touching. And in fact, I'm putting so much tension up here that this part of the lungs are just kind of being squeezed off and ignored. So I'm going to use my diaphragm in order to breathe more deeply, get more oxygen, and just calm your heart, oxygenate your blood a little bit more, and just keep things running smoothly and normally and keep your head clear. So the way to do that is to engage your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is a little dome-shaped muscle right here beneath the rib cage, beneath the lungs, and it sits just like this, and it's actually what makes you hiccup. You know, it's kind of funny. So when you hiccup, you kind of feel like, and usually your stomach kind of pops out a little bit. So we're going to engage the same thing that happens when you hiccup, but in a controlled way. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to move the diaphragm out of the way, get it to contract out of the way, leaving room for your lungs as you breathe in to expand to their fullest length, fill up all the way, and get lots of oxygen all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so you're like, well, how do I engage my diaphragm? It's not like something I can see or exactly feel. It's pretty easy. You probably do it more than you realize. So what you need to do, by the way, this is oxygen, oxygenating and breathing and all those things don't allow you usually to look at your most beautiful. So just want to let you know that. So I want you to just let your stomach go. Relax. I know, I've got to do it too. So relax and just let the stomach go. No holding it in. Don't engage those muscles. Get a nice straight posture. And then to engage the diaphragm, practice this. Try pushing your stomach out. You know how to do that. You've done that before. Just go. See that? See? Not exactly beautiful, but it takes some skill. So it takes some practice. So try it again. Push the stomach out. And you are engaging your diaphragm. Now that is an intense engagement of the diaphragm. So what I want you to do now is I want you to inhale and at the same time be pushing your stomach out just very gently. It's not going to be a big push. It's not an engagement of all the muscles. In fact, it should be a really relaxing thing. Watch how relaxing this can be. I'm going to do a nice inhale and engage my diaphragm to get it out of the way to give more room for my lungs to fill up. Here we go. It's almost like filling up a balloon. Really gentle. As I fill up my lungs, I'm pushing that diaphragm down and leaving more space for the air to fill in. So next thing that you're going to want to do is we're going to want to fill the lungs from the bottom to the top. A lot of times when we take a breath, we just take a quick catch breath. You'll notice when I was pushing the diaphragm out just a little bit, you weren't seeing any shoulder movement, you weren't seeing any rib movement, you were just seeing the movement down here. It's because the rest of this is relaxed. So what we're going to want to do is relax, engage the diaphragm, and then I'm going to show you an exercise right here to fill the lungs from the bottom all the way to the top. It's like when you pour a glass of water, from a pitcher. If you're going to pour the pitcher of water here into this glass, what part of the glass are you going to fill up first? Obviously the bottom. That makes sense. So you're going to pour that water in. It's going to fill from bottom to top until it's so full that it runs over. You're going to do the same thing with your lungs. When we get those catch breaths, we're just pulling in to the top portion of our lungs. So what we're going to do real fast is get rid of the stale air that you've been holding down in the bottom of those lungs. Maybe you've been feeling really tense. You've been holding on to air. I remember in my speech training, I had teachers who would tell me, you've been holding on to old stale air possibly for days. And that sounds really gross, but it feels so good once you get it out. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do 3 big controlled exhales. So breathe out, and I'm going to have you count to 3. Now it's gonna feel a little uncomfortable. You're gonna probably look a little stupid. So just be prepared. So what I want you to do though, is I want you to do the same hand motions as me. Just visualize it, get that air out of there, okay? It's gonna be a little uncomfortable. We're gonna do 3 big exhales, and then you're gonna have all the air out. Okay, so just do as I do. Here we go. Inhale in, and get it out. Hold it. Woo. What I did there was I got rid of all the air that I could. I held it for a moment until I was a little uncomfortable. And then instead of gasping air back in and using the muscles, instead I just opened up the airway and I let air rush into that vacuum that I had created. Okay, so let's do it one more time. So that inhale should have no effort at all. All you're gonna be doing is just letting go and letting air rush in. Let's do it one more time. Get that stale air out. Ready? Do the hand motions. 1, 2, 3. Let go. Whew, I could barely say that. I had no air. Let go and just let that air rush in. Now you might be feeling a little tiny bit dizzy, so if you are, take a seat. Take a seat and just let yourself recover for a sec. Maybe close your eyes. Just relax for a minute. That's okay. You're getting all that stuff out. It's good. Okay, so the next thing now is we're going to fill the lungs from the bottom to the top. And the best way that I have found to do this is to do what I call the straw technique. So you're gonna make your fist into a loose kind of fist with just a little bit of a hole in there, almost as if you had a straw in there. That's why it's called straw technique. So put a loose fist here, but what you're trying to do is you're gonna be breathing through your fist. You're going to just kind of hamper the air. You're going to not make it where it just comes right through your fist. You're gonna wanna act like you're really trying to suck air through this straw. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna count to, let's say, start with 7. I'm gonna count to 7, and you're going to try to breathe a full lungful of air with your diaphragm through your fist in 7 seconds. Then you're gonna hold, and we're gonna do a controlled exhale. You ready? Just follow me. Here we go. And exhale. Inhale for 7. Should be a full lung of air, both of them. Hold. Controlled exhale. One more time, let's do 7. Probably could have gone longer. Just gotta regulate the breath to fit into about 7. Then exhale. Good. Now, we already talked about, well, let me just explain real quick. What you're doing there is you are so slowly and carefully filling your lungs that you're actually filling from the bottom to the top. It's just a weird trick that works, but you suddenly are gonna feel a little bit more oxygenated. You're gonna feel just better. So what I want you to do with a lot of these exercises, it simply is showing yourself how to do it with weird techniques like this, and then memorizing the feeling. Same thing with the diaphragm, memorizing what that feels like and just incorporating it into your everyday. Same thing with the straw. Memorize what that full breath feels like, that relaxation that it takes to get that full breath, that slow inhalation. That controlled exhale, memorize what that feels like and start using it in your everyday. And so that way, when it comes time for you to feel, when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling a little bit stressed, your heart's beating too fast, you're starting to feel a little deoxygenated, your head is lightheaded, maybe you're a little dizzy, your fingers are starting to tingle, then that deep breathing is already a habit that you're able to do almost without thinking about it. And that's also going to slow down your heart, by the way, and just kind of get everything under control. So we talked about in the other video about 4 seconds being a good average for box breathing. Breathing in 4 seconds, holding it for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4 seconds, then holding it for 4 seconds. That's helpful. So Practice then doing the straw technique, getting a full lungful load of air in just 4 seconds. One time we're gonna do it, and then I'm gonna let you go. Actually, we're gonna go through 2 cycles, and then I'll let you be done. All right, great. Okay, here we go. Exhale. Let's breathe in 4 seconds. Get a full lungful of air. Don't do half, do full. Here we go. Which means that you likely probably had to, I'm still holding it by the way, that you probably had to pull in air a little faster, maybe adjust your straw, that's okay. Now go ahead and exhale, controlled. Okay, one more. And that is how you breathe through an anxiety attack.